and this is Impact 2022, our continuing conversation where we talk about everything from different topics from a religious standpoint, from um, a social standpoint, from a social impact standpoint. And this is as our continuing conversation. And as we have our continuing conversation, we encourage people to, type your questions and your comments into the comment section so that you may be a part of the conversation. This goes two ways. We talk and we also talk to you. And so as you put your comments and your questions in, we can continue the conversation. And as always, we hop right into the topics at hand. Um, we try not to beat around the bush too much and get right into it. And so what we've recently been talking about um, from time to time is issues of social injustice. And we've highlighted over the time period different issues when it comes to social injustice. And one of the important things that we've done is we've highlighted individual situations and individual scenarios. And so this one that we're going to highlight is a little bit different. Still, I consider kind of social justice, but it's a little different. And so here's what's been going on in the prisons in West Virginia. Uh, there has been, um, for lack of better words, there have been people who have been killed in these prisons in West Virginia. Um, and I don't want to just harp on the fact that it's West Virginia. I want to think in a broader term if we're just thinking about prisons in general. Um, but we'll go through. So in West Virginia, um, there's been a number of inmates who have been killed in private prisons. And what has happened is that these individuals will go there, and different stories, depending on what story you're looking at. Different stories will highlight that the inmates will come in, and then the inmates will communicate with their family, and they'll start showing different signs of abuse. Whether the abuse is change in body language, whether the abuse is actual physical marks, different types of abuses that have been going on inside of these jails. And so you'll see the inmates um, looking abused, and it doesn't take long. Uh, we're talking about inmates who are passing away after going to the jail for a month or less. And so these are not isolated incidents. You're having incidents of numerous people having the same scenario where they're going into the jail and they're winding up being killed. Um, and the killings will be um, in a sense pushed under the table or pushed under the rug. Um, so in one scenario that was shown, the killing, the person was found unresponsive in their cell, or they'll say the person was found just unresponsive in a particular area or room. They claim that an investigation will take place and things will go on such as this. And so that's why it's swept under the rug, because the key um, the key to it is that the person is found not responsive. And so what what the social justice part of this is, or the concern is, we send people to jail, or we're supposed to send people to jail so that they may be rehabilitated. We send people to jail because they are guilty of crimes. We send people to jail for um, whatever reason that you want to think people go to jail for. What we do not send them to jail for is to be killed, or to be abused in a manner where their own life is forced to be taken, or where they're getting a lack of medical attention and then they're passing away. Um, and especially in such a short amount of time, when people are convicted and they may still be going through the process of trying to overturn their conviction. Maybe they're in appeal. And that's important because everyone who goes to jail, as we all know, is not guilty of the crime that they may have been committed. And we know that our justice system is a slow process sometimes, and people who are not guilty may need to go through the process and go through the time to be able to get back out. And so I think it's important that we highlight these situations, highlight these situations where we're looking at people who are going to jail and then are winding up dead. And again, this is for me, this is concerning. And so why is this a social justice issue? Because if what we're doing is we're sending people to jail, and for me as a black man, understanding that black men are disproportionately have a disproportionately high number of inmates in the United States system, then we're sending people um, into unsafe situations, um, and into traumatizing situations for what? When they come out, what? We always talk about recidivism, and we talk about people going back into jail, or we talk about how when people come out of jail, sometimes the system, it's worse for them. It was worse for them going in, or it's a training ground for different things. But if you're going into jail and you're fearing for your life the entire time you're there, that is not an opportunity for anything. It's not an opportunity for growth. It's not an opportunity for change. It's not an opportunity to be able um, uh, to be able to turn your life around. And so, particularly in these West Virginia jails, here's what's been happening. This is 2022. It is September of 2022. They've already had 5 people in this particular jail in West Virginia who have died, and they're sitting back and they're saying, well, we don't know what's going on. Um, you know, they again they give their responses that they had this person who was unresponsive, this person who had a medical condition, and as the families are complaining and they're saying that they saw what was going on. The problem that we're having is that people don't care about folk in jail. A lot of us have the response, well, they shouldn't have did whatever they had to do to get into jail, or a lot of us sit back and say, well, we'll see, what happens. Laws can change. As we all know, people who are convicted of federal crimes don't have the right to vote, and they have to get the right back to vote. An effort that's been going on constantly in different states now to be able to give people or restore their rights. But without that right to vote, they don't have the power to encourage or push legislators to investigate these types of situations. Legislators are not going around making these laws to make sure that prisons are safe, making sure that there are certain um, responsibilities that the prisons have towards the families. Now, there is a Bill of Rights, a Family Bill of Rights, for individuals who have people who are in jail. But the reality of the matter is those rights are very small, and when those rights are violated, people are really not investigating. And so I think that one of the things that we need to do, that we all need to be reminded of, and because we all have had some kind of connections to somebody in jail, whether it be a direct family member, whether it be a distant family member, whether it be a friend or somebody that we know. Throughout our life, we all have met or come across someone who has been caught up in the justice system. And one of the things that we need to make sure is that there's some safety there, because many of the people that we come across have been in the justice system and have come back out. And so, how many people that we're sending in who don't get an opportunity to come back out because their safety isn't there? When we sit back, and I'll go from a Christian standpoint. Um, Again, a lot of personal reflection here, but as a man and a black man and as a Christian, I sit back and I say, one, for the grace of God is why I'm not in there. And you're saying, well, were you out here doing terrible things? No, but there's a lot of black men who weren't doing terrible things. They were just in the wrong place at the wrong time, and so they were accused of the wrong thing, um, innocent or maybe guilty of a smaller crime, and now they're in the system. And so we need to make sure that we take care of them. It's no good to sit back here and say that I care about my neighbor, and I don't care about my neighbor who happens to be in a facility and not too far away. And so I think we have an increased responsibility. And the churches, I think that at the churches and Christian individuals, I think that, you know, a lot of churches do have Christian outreach ministries or ministries that we do towards those who are locked up. But I think that we've let um, you know, government organizations and other things take over a lot of those responsibilities. And I think some of that we need to not take back, but we need to rededicate ourselves to do. And so it was disturbing. And again, one of the reasons that I don't want to highlight what the individual jails is because this is not an individual jail system. Yes, I did jump on West Virginia just because they've just had some egregious issues, but a lot of places have had egregious issues. Texas, California, Virginia, wherever you are, I'm pretty sure that the jail, the regional jail, the federal jail, has had some issues. And so it's not a particular place thing. It's not like we need to go over to this one jail where this one warden is at who's been just doing terrible things. It's all of them. We need to make sure that we not only take care of those who we can see, but we also take care of those who we can't see. And as this is, it's not that it's a rising epidemic, but if you look and you pay attention, you'll see that the numbers are staggering of how many people are dying or being abused in jail, how many complaints are being put out there by family members or people who have been in jail, and it's just we're not paying attention. We're not helping our brothers and sisters who are locked up. We're not helping those who are actually crying out for help just because, hey, they may have made a mistake, they may have done something in their past or whatever, and we're just not paying attention to the fact that they're now being um, some of them are now being mistreated and some of them now need help. We can't forget about those who are locked up. The beautiful part of it, I know the ministry that we have here, that's one of the things that we are in the process of going further on, and expanding our ministry towards people um, who are coming out of jail, and we need to even go even further and assist those who are being locked up. And so that's it. It's not a big a big to do today, um, but it's just a reminder to all of us that we need to um, be vigilant with people that again that we don't see, the people who are being locked up, people um, who are still our brothers and sisters, whether they are locked up because of something that they did or locked up because they got caught up and it wasn't something that they did. Whether they're innocent or guilty, we still have to reach out to them. All right. Well, that's it. It was a short one tonight. Straight to the point, short and sweet. Uh, I appreciate everyone who tuned in. Just as always, we'll be here next week. Impact 2022. And a reminder that on Thursdays, we have Thursday Thirst here on Facebook and YouTube. And on Sundays, we have service as well at 10 o'clock. Thank you, everyone. And please join us again. This is Impact 2022. Have a good one.